Hi, everyone. My name is Kristiana, and welcome to How to Start a Content Marketing Career. We're going to discuss some expert tips from some industry leaders, quote unquote, here at Somewhere. And at the end of this workshop, I'm hoping that we can, next slide, please. At the end of this workshop, I'll hope that I can share with you some opportunities available in content marketing. Then we're gonna talk about the skills you need to possess to excel in this field, and then I'm gonna share some tips on how to land a job in content marketing coming from a career shifter or a remote or newbie perspective. So again, my name is Kristiana. I lead B2B content here at Somewhere. So I can take credit for all the funny TikToks that you guys see on social, but I am in charge of all the client facing stuff that we put out there on the internet. I've been in the content game for 15 years, so that makes me an internet grandma, basically. And I'm super passionate about content. I'll tell you why in the next slide. So there's two main buckets why I think content is super amazing. Number one, from a career perspective, it combines three of my favorite things. So content marketing combines my three favorite things. It's marketing, it's storytelling, and of course, the bread. As the eldest child of an Asian family, getting the bread is super important to me, and I'm happy to report that content does that and more. Content also has a very low barrier of entry, which means that even though you don't have fancy gadgets or you don't have fancy equipment, you don't have a fancy degree, you can still make a career in content marketing. It can be done asynchronously. So, unlike, for example, customer service, you don't really need to be in the same time zone as your clients all the time. So, if that's important to you, content could be a great opportunity. And then it's introvert friendly and it's very in demand right now because I believe that content is running the world right now. The world, the internet basically runs on content. And as long as people, companies consume content, it's always going to be needed. From a biz perspective, I think it connects brands to people. So I want you to think about like a brand on social or on the internet that you really like. Maybe in the comments you can share some of the brands that you really like online today. And I want you to think about how that connects the brand or humanizes the brand to you guys, right? And that's all thanks to content. Another is that it helps businesses grow faster or grow together, I mean, with the audiences. I think about like somewhere when we started like creating content just a couple of years ago, we had zero or like not zero, maybe around 700 followers on LinkedIn. And now it's grown to like 200,000 in just a little over a year. So as our audiences grow, our business is growing as well. And that's in part thanks to content. And lastly, content provides long-term value to a company, which means there are so many opportunities in content right now. Are you guys excited to hear about the opportunities available in content right now? All right, I'm gonna share it on the next slide. There we go. So um, here are the most common opportunities that you can get in content marketing right now. For me personally, I started with content writing for blogs. Can anyone remember blogs? Can anyone still remember what blogs are before all the video stuff? That's how I started in content marketing. You can do thought leadership on LinkedIn for CEOs. There's newsletters or email marketing or email content, basically. And then there's script writing and production. Maybe you'll ask, oh, Krish, uh, who cares about written content? How about videos now, right? But Someone has to write the script for the video and do the production thing. So that's where content marketing or like your content creating process to come in. And then there's social media, content management, content strategy, marketing leadership. A lot of that. So there's so many opportunities in content marketing, and you can check out some of those later after this at jobs.somewhere.com. But for now that we know the opportunities in content marketing, let's check out if you have the skills to capture these opportunities. Are you guys ready? Can you please chat like a thumbs up on the chat just to confirm if you guys are ready. So we've got a cute little interactive situation going on. It's a quiz that I prepared for you guys. I'm gonna share the skills you need to possess to excel in content marketing, and on a scale of 1 to 3, 1 being the lowest and 3 the highest, I want you to rate your confidence in the following skills. All right, so the first skill that we have, first essential skill in content marketing, is that you need to be able to write and speak clearly, right? So if you're working with, of course, English speaking clients, it's a given that you need to have a good command of English. But I don't mean that in a way that, you need to have perfect grammar all the time, or you need to use like big words to sound smart or to impress your client. What I mean when you write and speak clearly is that you can convey ideas without losing meaning or without relying on big, complicated words. So that means you can express your ideas clearly. All right? So how would you rate your communication skills? I think this is universally useful, not just in the skill itself, but in working remotely as well, because you'll be communicating using, different kinds of media. So rate your confidence in writing and speaking clearly. All right, and when you're done with that, let's move on to the next skill that you need to possess. That's research skills. Sometimes like people think, oh, it's just research. But I think Googling things is a skill, and it's a skill that you need to possess if you want to be really good at content marketing. Google will be your BFF, or maybe ChatGPT if that's what you want, but I still have a preference for the good old search engine. So research skills means that you're resourceful. You're eager to learn more about topics that you might not be familiar with, because that's a very common scenario when working in the content industry. You will be assigned some topics that you might not be familiar with, or you might, in a remote setting, you're not really spoon-fed stuff. So you need to be independent. You need to be a self-starter who can work independently. So your research skills will be super useful in topic or market research, and of course, in remote work in general. So how confident are you in your research skill? Rate it 1 to 3. And if you're done with that, let's move on to the next one. Just keeping things simple. So one thing that I'm looking for when I personally hire people in my content team is that they're good at simplifying complex topics. So this ties back to the first skill that I mentioned. It means that you can understand a topic and then relay it to your audience in bite-sized pieces that it's easily understandable for them. Because for me, that means that you know what you're talking about, you understand it, and when you can relay it to people in a simpler way, it makes the content digestible. It makes it easy to consume. And of course, people will want to read or watch or listen to your content more if it's easily understood. So this is super useful if you're serving some complex industries or maybe tackling some topics. So how confident are you in keeping things simple? All right. So rate yourself. And if you're done with that, the next skill that we have, I think there's 7 of these. This is my favorite one. You need to be versatile. You need to be open to new things, especially in content. There's a lot of, it's like fast paced. And sometimes you will work with different formats, different industries, different brand voices. For example, in my experience, I used to work in a company that handled many brands, and one of the brands that I had to write for was this tactical gear company. So it was the voice was very masculine and very tough and very, in your face. And then the other brand that I had to write for was stationery, and they were targeting grandmas. So there's a shift in the brand voice that I had to accommodate as a content marketer. So that's something that you really need to develop as well. So it's useful for whether you're working in-house, freelance, solo. It will stack your skills. Now, how confident are you in your versatility as a creative or as a content marketer, aspiring content marketer, perhaps? Okay. Next one is, again, the ability to follow briefs. This is very personal for me since I work with a lot of different writers, and I expect a certain level of, quality. And I feel like your clients would do that too. They expect a certain level of quality from their content marketing staff. So what this means is that you know how to pay attention to detail. A brief is like a document, right, with instructions from the client, and you know how to follow that. You know how to pay attention to detail. You know to ask the right questions, and you can follow the client's instructions and deliver good work. For me, that's what it means to be able to follow the briefs, because when you do that, you can build trust and you can get more work your way. How confident are you in following client briefs if you've tried doing it? All right. The next one, I think this is the second to the last one. You need to be able to resonate. So resonance is a skill that you need to learn. You know how to connect with your audience. Think about your favorite content creators right now. Mine is Mimiya. For my Filipino participants out there, I love Mimiya because she's so relatable and her content resonates with a lot of people, I feel. In that same way, you need to know how to connect with your audience. You know how to write or create content that fulfills your audience's goals and pain points and makes them almost like a mirror to themselves, if you know what I mean. So you know how to adopt a brand voice that genuinely connects with your audience, because that's how content gets shared, right? That's how relatability is how you get your content out there, I feel. So how good are you at making connections, genuine connections with the people who are consuming your content? All right. So think about it. How confident are you in that? And then this is the last one. I think the last skill that you need to have is basic tech. So you need to know just the basic. You don't need to be super. You don't need to be super an expert in these in technical stuff, but you need to at least know SEO basics, search engine optimization basics, CMS, which means content management systems like WordPress, or publication systems like social media, Hootsuite or Buffer, stuff like that. Analytics, you need to have a basic understanding of how those digital marketing buckets work. So this is very useful for measuring client goals and the effectivity of your efforts, because when you do that, that's how you can communicate your value, giving results to your clients. Okay, so those are the 7, I think we've named 7. Those are the 7 key skills. And now let's calculate, let's do some basic math. Come on, please share if you're comfortable, please share your um scores in the comments section. If you're comfy, you guys, I'll wait for it. We won't move on until you share. I'm just kidding. If you're comfortable, please share your quiz evaluation results in the chat. Ooh, is that Ruzika? Is that how I pronounce your name? She's got 19. That's great score. Congrats. How about the others? That's an 18. Wow, really good scores there. Okay, great job, you guys. So let's see what those scores mean. So I just made it up, by the way. You don't need to get stressed if you've got a low score. It just means that we're evaluating your skill and trying to see, or your confidence basically, trying to see what we're working with. All right, so if you've got 7 to 11, you need to develop your skills, especially in the areas that you had a really low confidence score. So you need to develop your skills. If you've got something around 12 to 18, then you already have the skill. You already have like an idea of what the skill is. You just need to develop your confidence and your proficiency. You just need to own that skill. And if you've got 19 to 21, then you just need the right opportunity. And boy, do I know where to get those opportunities for you guys. We'll be sharing it later on. But yeah, so those are the skills that you need to possess as content marketers. And these, I hope that little quiz help you like evaluate what you need at this stage. And while we're dwelling on that, or while we let that sit in, let's talk about how you can land a job in content marketing right now. By the way, if you've got any questions, or if you're going too fast, please let me know. If you've got any questions, we'll have, I think, a short Q&A at the end of the session, and I can answer your questions. All right? So for now, let's get into the tips. So the first one, the first tip that I have is that you guys need to start building your body of work ASAP. So, Krish, what do you mean by body of work? In the creative industry or in content marketing specifically, I believe that your work is your resume. And I think that the internet right now gives us a lot of opportunities to showcase our skills, our work beyond like a simple document. I want to share something super personal. So I am a career shifter. I did not have any formal education in content marketing or in marketing in general, in writing. I'm actually a nurse. I graduated nursing. I graduated from nursing. And if I were to just use a simple resume to apply for jobs, I wouldn't have gotten hired. You know, my background wouldn't have cut it. But because I kept a blog, maybe it's a cringe blog, maybe it's a silly blog, but I kept a blog all those years and I used that as basically my portfolio. And that was enough to get me in the door and I guess be here with you guys and have this workshop. So I think creating your body of work, building your body of work breaks that chicken and egg cycle, right? If you're familiar with that chicken and egg cycle of like working remotely, like you want to apply for jobs, but the jobs want experience. But how can you get experience when no one's hiring you, right? So you need to make opportunities for yourself. You need to advocate for yourself, and you can use a lot of the opportunities available right now on the internet. So, for example, you can start a blog or newsletter, even if it's just for you or your friends. You can write on social, practice your writing skills on social. Maybe you can volunteer for guest posts. And on the next slide, I think we have some places where you can do that. Next, please. There we go. So there are some of the free platforms where you can get this practice. These are mainly for writing. All right, these are mainly for writing, but I think it's very translatable to other skills as well. Like for example, if you want to focus on, podcasting, you can create your own podcast on Spotify. If you want to focus on video, there's YouTube, there's TikTok, there's Reels. The platforms are endless. You just need to really start building your body of work. You just need to start somewhere. Hey, that's a good soundbite. But yeah, start building your body of work right now, because you want to have it. You don't, so that when you need it, it's already there, it's ready. You don't have to scrounge up anything from scratch. All right. So that's my number one tip in getting remote work, getting a remote job. Start building your body of work. And then I highly recommend that you also take courses to upskill, especially those who aren't very confident in their skills as yet. Below, you can screenshot some of my favorite places to upskill for content marketing. I want to highlight the one for HubSpot. HubSpot.com, they have free certification courses that you can take advantage of. There's a lot about content marketing there, lots about like basic digital marketing as well, if you want something in general. So go to HubSpot. There are lots of certification courses there, and the rest are mostly for writing, SEO, copywriting. These are very good places to start your upskilling journey. Okay? All right. So the next one, this is something that I want to highlight as well. If you're like trying to look for a job, or if you want to get hired, I highly recommend that you determine who you want to serve, or at least determine your ideal client, determine what niche you want to serve, because this helps you learn about the industry and their needs. And then also, it helps you prepare for when you're interacting with your clients during the interview, helps you do your homework, and it helps you anticipate the tasks or topics that you need to talk about. So for me, for example, I started with, before I encountered like B2B stuff, I started with e-commerce. That was my first foray in content marketing. Started with e-commerce just because I want free stuff. Honestly, that was the only reason why I got interested in e-commerce, like about almost like 10 years ago. E-commerce, and then startups, SaaS, like software as a service, and now here in B2B, and maybe some agency work as well. So explore, determine who you want or what industry you want to serve. It helps you um, narrow down your the application process as well. Something that would fit your interests and would fit your strength as well. All right. So on the next slide, we've got the next tip. Oh, this one. Please, please, please. As Sabrina Carpenter says, please, please, please optimize your profiles. This is super important, especially if you're like, in the process of applying for jobs. Potential employers will most likely search for you on social media. The internet has made the world super small. So please make sure that they like what they see. It doesn't have to be super formal. You just need to optimize or clean up, like for example, your header, your description, and maybe clean up some of your content for my Filipino audiences out there. You don't want to, potential clients to see your Maritas era content. Keep it professional, or at least, create a profile that would be appropriate for when potential employers search for you on the internet. And I think this also builds trust for potential employers when they check out your profile and reach out to you. So please, if you get the time, please optimize your profiles. maybe later I can share with you my tried and tested like header copy for LinkedIn. I'll share it later. But for now, let's move on to the next tip, which is to network genuinely. I cannot stress this enough. Like, when you're looking for, jobs, I think it's important to network genuinely with the people in the industry that you want to break into. Like for example, you can follow your ideal clients on social, and you can engage and learn from their content genuinely. An example that I can cite is on LinkedIn. I know that a lot of people find LinkedIn cringe, and sometimes it is, but there's a lot of opportunity there to really consume the content of like industry leaders that you wanna learn from. Like even before you hit that apply button on preferably somewhere.com, you know how, or you already have an idea of what's going on in the industry because of their content. You already know how to relate to them. You already know how to engage or learn from them. You already know how to maybe reference somebody's work that you can talk about. So I highly suggest you network genuinely. LinkedIn again is a nice place to do this. You don't have to spend like hours doing networking. For example, you can spend 10 minutes, you can spend 30 minutes in total in networking, like 10 minutes with the people that you already know, 10 minutes with connecting with old connections or people you don't follow yet, and then 10 minutes just following new people. All that in 30 minutes. So simple, and it pays, or a little goes a long way when you network genuinely. So yeah, that's another tip. The next one. Ooh, start with a side hustle. I highly recommend this one also, especially if you're a career shifter, like myself. you I suggest that you dip your toes first before going all in. And this is coming from like a very personal context as well. Like for example, if you're a breadwinner, you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket and risk your livelihood, right? For something that you might not be super qualified as yet. I'm not saying you're never gonna be qualified, but something that you're still developing your skill in. So I suggest that you dip your toes before going all in. This helps you just, learn the ropes and get paid for it. Build a body of work at the same time. And like I mentioned, you get paid while learning. So start with a side hustle. Don't quit your job as yet if you can. And start with like part-time gigs, limited collabs with people in your network first, just to try it out and see if the job suits you, suits your lifestyle, suits your skills. And you can learn a lot just by doing a side hustle. And then when you're ready, don't have to be 100% ready. Maybe when you're 80% or 90% ready, you can go all in after starting with a side hustle. So yeah, that's the other tip that I have. Oh, this one. So here are some signs of a great side hustle. Because of course, I'm also I have to acknowledge also, that side hustles take a lot of your time, energy, and effort, right? On top of like your day job or your full-time job. So for me, a great side hustle means that even though it doesn't pay well in like monetarily, it gives you resources. You get free resources to learn. For example, your side hustle will pay for your training, like that. Or your side hustle gives great feedback. They will help you learn skills. They will help you like develop your skills. That's a great sign. That's another great sign of a side hustle. And then number 3, it gives you connections. It gets your foot in the door, helps you break through the market. If the side hustle has two out of those three factors, then I think it's a great side hustle and it's something that's worth pursuing before you go all in. Okay, so that's it for that. This one. And once you've got that um groove going on, I suggest that you collect your wins. Does anybody collect their wins here? Do you copy or do you screenshot like compliments that you get online and then keep them in a folder? Anybody? Or is it just me? Does anybody else do that? Okay, no one else. It's just me. I'm okay. Okay. All right. Some of you do. All right. And that's something that's a habit that I want to encourage. Also, you need to collect your wins. Somebody called it an art gallery to inspire you, because imposter syndrome, it's a real thing, especially in creative industries. Like there will be times that you will question yourself, your ability, your skills. So it's really important to keep like a documentation of your wins so far, because not only will they inspire you, they'll also serve as social proof to help you land awesome jobs. I want to circle back to what I mentioned earlier, that your work is your resume. And one of the best things to prove your proficiency is when others like vouch for you. So when you already get a nice groove going from those side hustles, from those free things that are free efforts that you did earlier, you can collect your wins as social proof and help you strengthen your CV and help you land awesome jobs. All right. I think we're coming into the last couple of slides. Okay, this is actually the last one. Now that you've got an idea of how to jumpstart a content marketing career, like I said, if and when you're 80% ready, you don't have to be 100% ready. But if you're 80% ready, if you feel equipped, confident that you have the right skills, please, I highly encourage you guys to apply with Somewhere. It's a headhunter agency for remote talent and the host of this lovely workshop. You can find a lot of awesome opportunities at jobs.somewhere.com. These are fully remote jobs that you can do from the comfort of your home. You don't have to suffer through traffic, no need to commute. It's all in jobs.somewhere.com. And I want to leave you guys with this last kind of statement. So I feel like the internet levels a playing field for everyone. Like I mean that with my whole heart, because it changed my life. It meant that I didn't have to, go abroad, be a nurse, be away from my family, or the alternative, get stuck in traffic and travel 2 hours each way. The internet levels a playing field for everyone, and your dream job could be just a click away. So I hope that you guys found the tips that we've shared here helpful. And I hope that when you get the confidence and opportunity to please check out the opportunities that we have here at Somewhere. So yeah, I think that ends our official presentation. All right, and now let's open the table for your questions. And I'll do my best to answer them after a quick sip of water. That was a lot of talking. Have any questions, you guys? I think I saw one earlier. Okay, Rose asks you mentioned shifting on brand voice. Is it important to know your natural tone of writing or communication to be able to shift on different brand voices or industries. Yes, I think it's super important that you learn how to you're like cognizant of your own writing voice as well, so that you know how others sound. It's a great so that you can compare your own writing voice to others. I think that's um super important. And I think on top of knowing your own writing voice, it's also important to be super observant and see how, how other brands talk, how other brands present themselves. So yeah. Thank you, Rose, for that question. Do others have questions as well? All right, Joni. Okay. Yes, I hope that you can find that content marketing opportunity that you're looking for here at Somewhere, Joni. I wish you all the best, and I hope that our workshop today was useful for you in this new journey. Come on, guys, if you're not gonna ask questions, I'm gonna ask you questions. In the AI era with tools like ChatGPT, what are the risks of relying entirely on AI for content marketing? Alex asked this question. That's a very awesome question. We need to address the giant elephant in the room, the elephant being ChatGPT and other AI tools. Um, Honestly, I think that AI is just gonna get better for from here, but I don't think it's wise to rely on AI completely. Number one, AI, the content that AI does, like if you want AI to write from scratch, really, it's not giving, well, as the Gen Zs call it, it's not giving. It's not gonna, the results right now are not like, it's, for me personally, I don't think it's like really there yet. I think the best use cases for AI would be to help you get your writing better, or to help you do like technical writing stuff like meta descriptions or like templates or brainstorming, stuff like that. That being said, there is a risk of like writers who do not upskill, or for content marketers who do not upskill and, rise up to another level when it comes to their skills. For example, like if what you're doing right now is just like SEO articles that AI can easily reproduce, then there might be a risk for your job being taken away. But if you continually upskill, and if you, really lean into what makes content human, I think that that's where your edge um, would be. So, what are the risks of relying entirely on AI for content marketing? That's my answer. Okay, Rose again has a question. Thank you, Rose. She says, I have a little experience with content marketing and normally see brands giving editorial brief to content creators. Any sites or tips so I can practice writing with editorial briefs or prompts? Good question, Rose. I actually haven't had an experience, or I haven't experienced like sites specifically that does briefs for you guys, but I think this is a great use case for ChatGPT. Like, circling back on what Alex mentioned earlier, I think you can prompt AI to create a brief for you, and then you can write according to that that brief. I think that would be a brilliant use case for AI. Yeah, I think it can do that as well. It's very good at creating templates and briefs and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope that was useful, and I hope that's a really great question. So I hope everyone can try that out. All right, great question so far, you guys. Thank you. Okay, Prince says, do you accept career 50 applicants. I am a social worker by profession. I stopped working for a long time and now I want to apply as a virtual assistant. I attended trainings to equip myself in this industry. From what I know, from our, well, do we have, Vince, do you have like kind of people from like recruitment here that can best answer Prince's question, do you think?
I don't think so.
Okay. Alrighty. Then I'll give my answer. I think that here at Somewhere, it really depends on what the client's specifications are. From my experience and from what I've observed, they're not really particular if you come from another industry or stuff like that. I think what is important is that you have the necessary skills and that you can back up those skills with real life expertise and that you do well in your interviews as well. I think that's the most important part, not so much as educational background, but more of like there's two factors. So the factor one, what the client's specifications are. It depends a lot on the client because Somewhere is a headhunter agency and we highly depend on the client's specifications for the people that we hire. And then also depends on how well you present said skills and value to the client and to our recruitment staff. All right. I hope that answers your question, Prince. Christine says, how can you negotiate your rate as an entry-level content marketer? You won't like my answer. It really depends. Um, for entry level, this is just based on what I see on our some of the success stories that we've had here at Somewhere. Content marketers usually range from $1,000 to $1,500 or $1,200 for entry level content marketers. Again, it depends on the client's specifications and it depends on how well you represent your skills and how well you can deliver value to your client. Because at the end of the day, honestly, the clients, in my experience, clients don't really care about educational background or whatever. They care about how you can bring value to the table, how you can make their lives easier, either by lessening their expenses, giving them more time, or giving them more revenue. So when you can represent those things to the client, that gives you an edge on how you can negotiate your rates as an entry level content marketer. I hope that answers your question, Christine. Leonard says it's off topic. Okay, that's okay. Are all physicians at Summer asynchronous? No, not all of them are. Again, it depends on the client. Some of them require real-time collaboration, especially if for roles that like for roles like customer service, sales, like that. But some are. So it depends on the role, depends on the client. You can check them all out on the job site. It usually the time requirements or the time, what word am I looking for? Like the time zone requirements are stated there. All right. Alex mentioned, you mentioned you've handled different brands with unique voices and tones. How do you figure out the brand voice? Do you identify it yourself or they provide branding guidelines? Great question, Alex. So, most of the time, for example, if you're working as like a writer in an agency, right, or an in-house writer, most of the time the brands themselves will give you branding guidelines. They have TOV or tone of voice guidelines that you can use for, well, guidelines in writing. So it would sometimes go like, our brand voice is bubbly and youthful and excited. Or sometimes it will say, it's serious, it's authoritative. That's right. Some kind of like that. So they will have, some of them sometimes have their own branding guidelines that you can use. But other times, like for example, if you're the first marketing hire for that company, like my experience, I have to figure it out myself and I have to like document them myself. And that's what led me to content strategy because I had to figure that stuff out. But if the role is more of writing, they should give you branding guidelines. Sorry, I rambled on that a bit. I hope that was useful. Marco says, I've read and heard that companies are requiring short video introductions. Can you confirm if this is the norm now? um, I might need confirmation from the recruitment team for that. But yes, I have heard that there is a video element to the introductions right now. And we are actually currently working on, like, I think it's a PDF or a guide for applicants on how they can create those short video introductions. Because I also believe that from a hiring perspective, it will increase your chances of, getting clients when they see, hear how you talk and how you present yourself. So yes, I perhaps will be making a formal announcement of that soon or something, but I have heard that yes, there is a short video introduction element that we might officially roll out. But yeah, I think that's in the horizon, Marco. For newly hired applicants, is there a training? Is there an age limit? Age limit? No age limit from what I know. Training, that will depend on the client as well. Again, somewhere, I keep saying Shepherd. Somewhere is a headhunter agency, so our relationship is just to find clients there, the person that they want to hire, and then once you get hired, we'll hand the relationship over to them. So you will be working directly with the client, and if there's a training, then they will be the one to initiate that. But from somewhere's end, as of this moment, right now, we do not have any official trainings available aside from the free ones that we do here right now for like workshops like these. Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Prince. Anyone else? Any questions? Any other questions, you guys? I think that was a very efficient workshop, don't you think? What do you guys think of the workshop so far? What do we need to improve, or what other topics do you want to see in the future that would be helpful? Please, please, please let us know in the chat. And if anyone has some last minute questions, this is the perfect time to do so. All right, I'm gonna leave. All right. Yeah, no other questions, you guys? Oh, okay. Last one from Dave. I think we can make this the last one, you guys. Hi Krish. Hi Dave. My question is, what's an underrated but amazing tip that you can give someone like me who's had experience as virtual assistant who wants to jump into another niche like content marketing? Oh yeah, for sure. You know what? I don't my okay, if you want like an underrated tip, it's that nothing is wasted. Everything, every skill that you learn, every experience that you have is transferable. Like the skills that you've developed in one niche can be transferable to another. You just have to find it. You just have to really see where the skills that you've learned now fit into your new into the new niche that you want to explore. I think there's no such thing as sayang. Sayang is a Filipino word that means like it's wasted or something. But yeah, as a career shifter, speaking from my experience, there's no sayang. You learn transferable skills as soon as you can, so that when you jump into another niche, you can be as ready as you can as well. So that's my that's my tip. Yeah, I think that could be the last one. If you want more content marketing support, here are the pages for somewhere you can reach, or no, these are the, if you want more somewhere content, I mean, these are the social handles for somewhere. And if you want to more support for content marketing and stuff, I have a Facebook group specifically for content marketers. I hope this is okay to share here. It's a free group. And let me share this with you guys here on the chat real quick. Um, there we go. That's my free support group for writers. So if you need more, if you have more questions or if you need more resources, we can catch up there. But for now, I guess this is it. Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate the time that you've given today. I'm so happy to have shared this stuff with you. And if you don't mind, just 1 second, I just want to take a nice picture for my mom so that she won't think that I wasted my 4 years of nursing. Just kidding. Thank you, you guys. I had a lot of fun. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Thank you.